So, hello and welcome to the Online Entrepreneur Academy podcast. And today I've got with me Elizabeth Butters. Now, Liz, we've known each other quite a while, haven't we?
We have, yes. Good
Wasn't
few
so?
years now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to hand over. Would you mind introducing yourself to our audience of entrepreneurs? Because you have done and are doing some amazing things. So, over to you to introduce yourself.
Thank you. I'm Elizabeth Butters. I'm a virtual assistant from Bread and Butters, and I help you take those small tasks off your plate so that you can focus on bringing in the bread and butter of your business. That's
Oh,
my day job. And I also am in network marketing, which I do alongside. I live in Swindon, where I've lived for many years now. And yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
amazing. I love the name. I didn't realize you called you bread and butter, right? Bread and
Bread
butter.
and Butters, so it's a play on words of my name, which
Yeah.
and also kind of explains what I do. So
Yeah.
it seemed to be a good fit.
Absolutely. Now, you moved away from a day job, as we were talking earlier before we started our recording, about a year ago, right?
I did, yes, exactly a year ago, in fact. January last year, I decided to leave my job and set out on my own in the world of entrepreneurship. So it's been an exciting journey ever since.
I bet. Now, entrepreneurship is not new to you, so we'll circle back to what you're doing now. But you've been in networking for a while, and that's how we met. We went to conferences, and we were even in the States together at one point, weren't we?
We had a trip to Kansas City, didn't we?
We did. That was amazing,
Yep.
and of course, connecting with people is half the joy of working for oneself,
Mm.
freedom to travel and the related meetings and conferences. But what got you into network marketing? Because a lot of people don't, I think, I'm right saying a lot of people don't realize that they can do another job alongside their day job, and it can be fun and interesting.
Absolutely. And I don't think I realised that I could do something else alongside a job as well, to be fair, when I first heard about it. So my friend was launching her network marketing business and she invited me to her launch event. And I just went along as a good friend to support her because she asked me to come. And at the event, there were about 25 people. It was in a nice room above a pub, and there was a presentation, and it was all very professional. And yeah, there was a nice atmosphere in the room. So I had no idea what she was doing. She hadn't mentioned it at all before. Um, but I was really impressed with what I heard. So there were two people there representing the company, and they explained the presentation, and I saw that my friend was excited about it, and it just made so much sense to me as well. I think the fact that it was something you could do alongside what you already did. So it was something that you fitted into pockets of time that you already had. And I loved the ethos of the company and also the products that they made. And it just made so much sense to me to do it alongside a full-time job
Mm,
that had so much potential.
fantastic. And you haven't looked back because you're still working with the network marketing companies.
I am, yes, 12 years later.
Amazing success. Because, like any, I think the misunderstanding sometimes with network marketing is like any field, any job, there are lots of different types of businesses, and you just need to, as you alluded to there, choose the one that works for you. So tell us what area is your network marketing company in? What area of business?
It's in health and wellness, so there are skincare and nutritional supplements.
Mm. And so things have changed over the years. So if someone was thinking, shall I go into network marketing? And I will say, guys, look at the show notes. As always, you'll know that the contact points for Liz will be there. So you can follow up if you want to on this line and many others. But has it moved on? Because we used to get our friends together, those that we knew were interested, of course, and help them out. So is it more online these days? How does it work? Tell me.
You can still build your business in that way if you want to, actually, and a lot of people still do. If people feel more comfortable in face-to-face presentations, it is still encouraged at the beginning to get a group of friends together and sit down in person and explain what you're doing. But yes, as with the invention of more technology, a lot of it has moved more online. So there are Zoom calls. So you can do a launch on a Zoom call, for example, now. Also, I think a lot of people do use social media a lot more. So there are Instagram lives and other things like that where people will talk about their business, which didn't exist when I first joined. Yeah, and I think people do a lot more online now. So there are lots of different ways that you can build your business.
Yes, because marketing, as you say, has changed over the years.
Mm,
So you build a customer base, don't you? So you have regular customers who like the products. Like me, I still get my protein shake from you, don't
you
I?
do, yes, yes. So you build, well, with the company that I'm with, you build a customer base and also a network of other people wanting to grow their own businesses. So you're helping and coaching them to get started and get going with it too.
And would you say typically it needs a lot of knowledge of the product, or is that something that you learn and keep and grow your knowledge as you go? Because some people
Absolutely, yeah. You learn as you go, so you can join a company like this with no knowledge whatsoever, and you'll be taught what you need to know along the way. So there'll be plenty of people ready to help and support you, and you can learn as you go, which is another great thing about it.
Yeah. And what I saw when in the network marketing world was it was very supportive with lots of, as you've just said, but also supportive emotionally, supportive with information, conferences. Is that still the case?
It is, yes, exactly that. I think lots of people join because they get excited about the opportunity or the products or both. But so many people stay because of the community. The community is fantastic. There is exactly so much support, like you said.
Mm.
And it's a really wonderful environment to be in. I've made so many good friends, both within the company and also outside of the company from different companies, just from people I've met in the industry. It's a really collaborative and supportive place to be.
Incredible. And of course that it also what something you said there made me think you're sort of almost choosing your work colleagues, aren't you? Whereas when we're in a traditional workplace, we probably have some amazing colleagues, but maybe not everyone, to put it mildly.
It's true. Yes, I guess when you're building your own team in network marketing, you can choose who you want to speak to. So you can, yes, you can reach out and find other people that you would like to work with and work with them.
Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. Now let's circle back to what you did a year ago, because you are a very well qualified, very well educated professional person, as obviously our listeners will know immediately. But you moved away from the day job, didn't you?
Thank you. I did, yes. So January last year, I decided I wanted to set out on my own. And actually, I think I have that network marketing to thank for this because if I hadn't have been in network marketing already, I don't think I would have had the confidence or the belief that I could make it work, or even that there was another avenue to go down apart from being employed, because before that, being employed was all that I'd known.
Mm.
So I think it was because of network marketing, it gave me the confidence to believe that I could do it. So I decided to leave my job. I was a business coordinator at the time, which meant that I was kind of a PA slash events coordinator slash general admin person for the business. So I was supported lots of departments with lots of different tasks. And I decided to become a virtual assistant because it seemed to make sense. It was just transferring a skill set that I already had and just setting up my own business instead. So that's what I've been doing for the last year. It's been a steep learning curve, but it's good. I'm enjoying it. I
So
think it
you
was the right move.
recommend people to think about that. It has to be the, as you say, the right move for the
Yeah,
right time.
yes, I would say so. Definitely think about it. Definitely talk to other people. I went to, when I first left my job, I went to lots and lots of different networking groups to
Uh-huh.
try and meet new people, get some advice, and decide which group I felt was going to be right for me to invest my time in going forward. But that was a really worthwhile experience because there are so many people willing to help. There really are. You just go to all these groups, get to know people, and if you're chatty and friendly and interested in other people, they're more than willing to give you advice and help you. So I got a lot from doing that, and then eventually settled on one networking group that I've started going to regularly. But yeah, it was really good to find all of that help and support out there.
Yes, because that is one of the barriers. I think we both recognize when people want to work for themselves full time, at least, they're thinking it is lonely. It can be lonely. I think we both confess to that. But you've just said the solutions, aren't there?
Yes, exactly. So I go to this group once a week now, and it is brilliant because it's the same people every week. So I'm getting to know them well. And it's like having new work colleagues. Obviously, they're not my work colleagues, because
Yeah,
we all have our own businesses, but because we all meet once a week on a Wednesday morning, it feels like they're my team and they are all very supportive. And we've got a really good group dynamic. So
fantastic.
yeah, it really helps. Like you say, when you are working on your own, it can be a lonely experience, but at least having this group to go to once a week is really helpful and really supportive.
Amazing. Yes, so we're talking in the UK, but wherever people are, they can find network meetings. There are various different clubs and organizations, aren't there?
There are lots of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've covered just take a deep dive, go for it if the time's right for you. Um, get a support group around you in terms of meetings and connecting with people. So the network meetings that you go to, not to be confused with network marketing meetings, but the networking meetings, are people from all different walks of business and life, or
They are, yes. We've got a good mixture of businesses in our group. So, yes, really good to get to know lots of different people from different backgrounds.
yeah. And as a virtual assistant, now that I would imagine that your work could be needed by any one of those businesses at any one point.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think there's the potential to work with several people in the room and also with their wider networks. Yes, so with a virtual assistant, my aim is to work with small businesses who are wanting to grow to the next level and they've got some admin or other types of work like that that they would like to outsource. So basically anything that they don't have to do themselves. So everyone's got their expertise within their area of business, whether they're a photographer or a builder or a financial advisor, whatever it is that they do, that's their field of expertise. They may not want to be doing their own admin, and that's where I come in to help them for a couple of hours a week or a month or whatever it is that they need so that they can focus on doing what they do best.
Yeah, absolutely. Outsourcing is amazing, isn't it? We
Mm.
do that. So tell me, because I think a lot of hesitation and getting help from a virtual assistant, from a VA is how do I explain what I want done, or I really don't know what I want done. I just feel I'm in a mess. So how do you approach it with your customers and clients to get that work done?
So I always have a discovery call with them first. So if people um, want some help, then we'll have a chat about what it is that they're doing, and I can identify how I can help them, or how I think I might be able to help them. But if they really are in a muddle and they're not sure what they could outsource, I might advise them first to go and see a business coach, because a
Oh,
business coach could then help them establish exactly what they can and can't do
mm,
or do themselves,
yeah.
or where they could outsource, and they'd approach it from a much more strategic point of view, and they might then be able to identify tasks that can be outsourced, which I can then do those tasks that are being outsourced. So that's how we kind of work it. But some people that I'm working with are really clear and they've got a really good idea of what I can do for them. So it could be just scheduling their social media posts. So they've got the content, but they just need someone to give it to schedule. So I can take that off their hands. I can manage inboxes and diaries, book travel, um, proofread. I'm a certified proofreader, so I help people with that, whether it's their marketing literature or websites. And yeah, so general kind of admin things that they don't need to be doing themselves, that they can just hand over to other people and they can be confident that it's getting done in the background whilst they're carrying on with their day job.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, admin is such a skill, and it's something that a lot of us veer away from because it's just like that huge, mental pile of papers and stuff to organize. It's interesting you mentioned social media posts. So, in your experience, do people sort of write the content themselves and then ask you to just sort it out? Is that how it works?
Yes, some people do that. So some people like creating their own content and they do that and then they just give it to me to schedule.
Mm,
Other people might use a social media agency. So
mm.
they might have managed content. They either use a social media agency to manage their content for them, or they might go on a course or a workshop to learn how to create their own content. And then they would give that to me to outsource. So there's different approaches to it.
Right, okay. And do you find that sometimes you're choosing the pictures or the graphics, or is that depend on the client?
That does depend on the client, but the clients that I'm working with at the minute are both creating their own content and just giving it to me to schedule.
Okay, that sounds a dream, just to do what
Mhm.
they do best and then say, hey,
Yeah.
Can you?
They know their clients and their industry, so they're best placed to come up with what it is that they want to say, provide the pictures, and then I can just take it away and make sure it all goes out on time to the places that they need it to go to.
Yeah, amazing. So another question that I think that people might be asking if they've not thought about helping themselves with a virtual assistant is how is that managed? Without going into obviously into details, is it easy enough to have a second person on a social media account so you can be an editor in effect? Is that a straightforward process that you can do with the clients?
Yes, it depends what platform they want to
Or
use, but yes, yes, that
that's
seems
not a
very
barrier.
straightforward to set up. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. That's amazing. So tell us, how are you finding this first year? Because there's this, I don't know if it's an urban legend, but the first 2 years of any new business are tough. Any regrets? Excitement?
Oh, no, I don't have any regrets. I still feel like it was the right thing to do, even though at times it has been a bit hairy. I think you have to be a bit resilient and um you have to have a high-ish tolerance of risk. But actually, again, going back to network marketing, I think a lot of the in network marketing, it's encouraged to do personal development, and I have done a lot of that over the 12 years that I've been with my company. And that's taught me a lot. And I think even though sometimes I might feel anxious or worried, or I'm not sure how something's going to work out, I have got quite good at just taking those feelings and kind of putting them to one side, putting them in a box and putting a lid on them, and then just focusing on what it is that I need to do. So even though the worry may be there in the background, I've kind of learned how to cope with it. So it's good to have coping techniques to deal with it. But again, with the support of the networking group and the support of people in the network marketing community, there are so many people you can talk to about these things. And you think you're the only one going through them, but you're really not. Everyone else who's in business has been through these things as well, and they're more than happy to provide an ear or help if you want to talk about things. So yeah, definitely no regrets, but yes, I have had to dig deep at times and be resilient, because you do go from having that regular paycheck every month where you know exactly how much you're going to be earning to not quite being sure what's going to happen next. And but yeah, so it's definitely been a roller coaster, but it's good.
Yeah.
I'm still
Oh,
going.
yeah. And we're coming back, aren't we, all the time to community and
Mm.
colleagues and mentors. So, so as I said at the top of the conversation, we ended up in the same wonderful conference in the States. Maybe one or two actually. It's distant memories. But do you still go to conferences? Would you? We've talked about the smaller groups, the regular groups each week. Do you still think there's a value in attending conferences where we can? Because a lot of it's
Mm.
selling, isn't it? We have to be careful. I'm saying too much. I want to ask you your views.
I love going to the conferences because even though I'm an introvert and I like to spend a lot of time by myself, going to those conferences is amazing because you just get so much energy from it. The energy in the room is really special, and it's very motivating, and it gets you clear on why you're doing what you're doing, because sometimes we all need a little reminder.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, so I've been to several conferences in the States with my company, and also they have a UK version as well. And all of them have been brilliant. And even sometimes we have the occasional smaller meeting throughout the year. We had one at the start of January, and it was all about setting goals and getting you on track for the year.
Amazing.
It was brilliant. It really was. It was such a great day. It was, yeah, a month ago now, but I'm still thinking about it and kind of processing the content that was shared on that day. So I think they're really, really inspirational things to go on. So yeah,
No,
lots of value still, I think, on attending in-person events like that.
great. No, I would agree with you, and I'm glad that that's your thought as well, because there is, as you say, there is so much value in connecting with people, learning resilience. You mentioned.
Mm. That's the
Or,
thing, and then you just get chatting because people tend to be quite open at that sort of thing. You
mm,
get chatting to all sorts of people when you're, in the
yeah.
queue, in the queue to get a drink or
Yes.
wherever, or you're sitting next to somebody you don't know. Everyone's open, and you can just chat and meet so many interesting people.
And bounce ideas off each other.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the marketing. So, any because obviously you've set up your own business. you are a VA. So how did you let people know what you were doing? Because I'm sure a lot of people listening will think, well, I've got this skill and like, yes, I could do that. Liz is making me think about what I could do, but oh my goodness, how do I tell people what I'm doing short of taking out a full page advert in a newspaper or something? That's not a serious suggestion, by the way. Well, maybe.
So yeah, there is a process and several steps to setting up a business. So I did start going to networking. So that was the first thing that I did. I went to all sorts of different networking groups, like I've already mentioned, and said and explained to people what I was doing. And then now the group that I've joined, um, I talk about what I do with them every week. And they will then be sharing that with their wider network. But social media is also where I've started to talk about what I do. So I've got Instagram and Facebook pages. But I think my goal for this year is to do more with LinkedIn because I think that's where my ideal client will be found. And so I'd like to learn more about LinkedIn and promote myself more on there because I think that would be a really, really good place to
Yeah.
find customers.
No, I agree with you. And you've hit on a very important point. It's where our customers are. And please listen to what Liz is saying,
Mm.
people, because we might love a certain platform, but it doesn't matter, does it? It has to be where our potential clients are.
The thing I think, so having identified who my ideal client is, I know that they will be found on LinkedIn, even though I think Instagram's my favorite platform and I do use that to some degree, but I do think LinkedIn is the place
Yeah.
that I need to learn about and do more with.
Well, we had a guest who talked about LinkedIn on the podcast, so I have to direct
Oh,
you to
well, I'll
that
have to go and
episode.
listen to that episode then.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's another component is finding the right communities as you've outlined
Mm,
to help and support. And obviously you're contributing very much to what they're doing. And then it's the ongoing marketing and identifying those places. What else is, I mean, obviously in different countries there'll be different business setups, so we'll leave that one aside.
mm,
But what else, what other advice? Is there other advice that you would give people who are thinking, yeah, I could do this and maybe start off even part-time?
mm. That's a really good idea, actually. I mean, I actually did jump in with both feet to starting my business, which was good and bad. But I think, yes, if you are thinking about it, you could start it up part-time and just, yeah, talk to people, get a feel for the thing that you want to do. And you can always start part-time. Yeah, start doing it in your evenings and weekends and just start to dip your toe in the water and see how it goes. And you can gradually make the transition into being full-time.
Get that
That's
over.
definitely possible. I know another VA who's done it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And eh, so Liz, without going into details, could you give some general advice about how people would set up their pricing? Because I know a lot of people think maybe not so much with the VA work, but it's, do I have an offer? Do I have an hourly rate? So any advice about that area when people are starting their business?
So I did a little online crash course in becoming a VA. And on that, they advised that when you get started, you start by with an hourly rate
Hmm.
because you're still getting used to the sort of work that you're going to be asked to do and how long it might take you. And then as you become more comfortable, you'll get a really good idea of how long it takes you to do things and what sort of work you would like to be undertaking. And at that point, you can move into creating packages or yeah, special prices for different clients and that kind of thing, so that you know roughly how long it's going to take you to do something, and then you're comfortable with
Mm.
charging a fixed amount for it. So that seems to be the best way to do it in the long term. But if you're new, you can start out with an hourly rate, and that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, that makes huge sense. And also,
Mm,
I'm hearing like you're talking about like one client, as you said, you get used to, or you get to understand what they want. And
mm,
that would be applicable, I would think, to most businesses.
yeah.
Start out small, be confident that you can deliver the work.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
all,
exactly. You want to be confident that you can deliver the work, and you want to, but you also want to make sure that you get paid adequately for your time. So it's a balance of the two.
absolutely. And I was going to say, I feel there's a danger, and we've both seen it, of undercharging. And I don't think that does anyone a favor, does it?
No, I have done that, and yes, yeah, it's better to charge a fair price for the value that you're offering because you are
Yeah.
providing a service and it is valuable, and you need to believe in yourself and have confidence that you can do it. because you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know what your thoughts are, but I've also seen people not appreciate things that are free or very low rate or a special offer. And then the perception is it's not very good, which is a shame, isn't it?
That's right, exactly. People can, if they don't pay for something, yes, perceive it as not being worth very much. So it's definitely a good idea to charge what you're worth. Having said that, if you do belong to a networking group that you go to regularly, you can create a special offer for people in that group, a 10% discount or something like that. Um, so yeah, that's an option as well.
Yes, and that makes sense. So sort of like almost a courtesy price to
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're getting to know them and they're people that you like and you might want to work with, and they've got your back as well. So it makes sense to offer them a bit of a discount. Mhm.
So, now tell me, do you ever or do you see, or it maybe people in your group under huge pressure because they've overpromised and they can't deliver? Is there the danger that one takes on too much, thinking that maybe next month there won't be so much work? How do people avoid
Um,
that?
yeah, I haven't seen that too much yet.
Good.
Most people in my group are confident business owners and they've been doing their business for a while, so they've got a really good sense of what they're doing. I am one of the newer people, although there are a couple of others who've set up their businesses recently as well.
Mhm.
So I think there is a tendency at the beginning to just take whatever work you're offered. But over time,
Understandable.
yeah, you grow in confidence and you start to balance it out. But yeah, there is seasonality is another thing that I've discovered this year, have to get used to. So there are going to be busier periods and quieter periods, and you will have to figure out when those are for your business and how you can manage them, both
Yeah.
in terms of time and finances, and making them stretch across the year as well.
So now I'm going to touch on AI because I've been looking at, you mentioned LinkedIn, and I've been looking at LinkedIn posts. Well, I look at them quite a lot, and I'm seeing an AI pattern. Now, to be honest, I think AI is amazing, but like any tool, got to be used properly. So, what are your views on how AI can help the business owner, and how does that interact with what you do for your clients? If that's
Mm.
okay for me to ask that.
That's fine. Yeah, I think, as you said, AI is a fantastic tool. I've used it quite a lot. Um, it's great for clients, especially if they are creating their own social media or they're writing blogs or something like that. They can use it to give them good starting points. So it does that. It's really good. You can the more you use AI, the more it learns you, and so it starts to sound more and more like you or talk in the voice that you would normally talk in. So when I've used it before, I never 100% use what it says, but
Yeah,
it's a really good starting point that you can take and then tweak. And it does save time. It does save
yes,
time for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, so I think it's good. I think it's good.
yeah,
Mm.
and yes, because I think some people, like any new tool or machine, we can overuse it or underuse
Mm.
it. I think it's definitely been overused, and as you said, the human voice is not there, so
Mm.
it's a learning curve for everyone, isn't it? How to use
It
it.
is, but you can also ask it for ideas.
Yeah.
So sometimes I just ask it for advice, and it gives me advice. Whether I take it or not is another thing. But yeah, you can ask it all sorts of questions, and it's just a great way of getting you thinking, I think.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, do you have time for your own hobbies and interests, or you're very busy in this? Because again, I can't get away from people saying, "Oh, you have to spend all your time on your business. You've got no personal time." But have you been able to manage your time so you've got time to do what you love and enjoy?
I have. That's a really good question. So I've tried to the best of my ability, stick to working hours. So I've got working hours for my business, which is still basically a Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. That's when I'm aiming to do my virtual assistant work. And
Right.
then in the evenings, I'll do something to do with network marketing or
Hmm.
weekends. But yes, so I've always danced since I was a child, and I still dance once a week on a Wednesday evening. So I do that. I love walking, so I'll often be going out walking at the weekends. And yeah, still love theatre and cinema and reading books. So I think it's important. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's important to have time for those things and to do the things that you enjoy.
Do you ever find that you sort of like be a bit naughty and okay, it's Monday afternoon, there's a really good film on, I'm going to nip off to the cinema.
I haven't yet done that, but it's really tempting to meet friends for coffee during the working week because you think, oh, I can.
Feels like
And that's fine because you can. You can be flexible. The thing you need to remember is that you then need to work at another time when you
yeah,
might not be. So as long as you're still getting your work done, then that's fine. Yeah,
yeah,
that's one of the absolute benefits of being self-employed because you can do those things.
absolutely. And I'm guessing no travel costs either.
No, not from being a VA. It's very good like that. Work from home or work in a coffee shop.
Yes, absolutely. Library corner. Yes,
Yes.
that seems to me the huge of, and also for people who might be considering working for themselves,
Mm,
especially if they've got a young family or other people that rely on them, they can be flexible as long as you said, I want to really stress what you've said there, it's so important. You've got to be quite strict with yourself and doing the hours because the business does need looking after, doesn't it?
exactly that. And I think it's really easy to fall into that trap of thinking, oh, I don't have to do this now, I can do it another time. But you really do have to make sure that you are then doing it another time because, yeah, as you said, you need to still spend time working on your business because if you don't, it's really easy to just, especially if you're at home, put the
Right,
washing on or get distracted or do something else. But you do
right.
have to put the time aside, make dedicated hours and work in those hours, I think, if you because you still have to do the work, enough work to make it a success.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
that's the thing.
Literally working from home can be a bit dangerous just for those little practical things that one ends up doing.
Yes.
You're not careful. So the coffee shop, the library is a good.
Yeah, and there are loads of really nice workspaces now. So if you
Yes.
want to create a good working environment, if you can either, create a really nice space for yourself at home, create an office and get it designed exactly how you want it so that you're happy to go in there and you like spending time in there. But also there are coffee shops, hotels, workspaces. You can rent, a desk in a shared working space and go and sit there for a day. And it's just having a change of scene, I think, makes a huge difference.
Yes.
Even if you've got another friend that you've met from networking and you two want to go and co-work together, you can go and hang out together and you're each working on your own thing, but you're just it's a bit of companionship and a change of scene, which works wonders.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're so right about the workspaces, the shared workspaces. There are more and more popping up. Even in our small town on the south coast, we've got
Mm,
very pleasant
yeah,
places you can go and work. So another option. So
yeah.
and another way to make sure that you're feeling like you're working and getting the work done.
That's the thing. I think feeling like you're working is a really good way. So you've just got to find those ways that work for you to get you feeling like the entrepreneur that you are.
Absolutely. So do you still get a chance for holidays? Because I know that you love traveling, and of course, most of us do. I do as well. So how do you manage that? Do you give yourself apply for your own holiday time?
Yes. So yes, I've just managed my clients so far to say that I'm not around that week, and you just plan for it exactly as you would if you were taking a week off an employed job. You just say to your clients that you're not going to be around for however long, and
Simple.
arrange with them for the work to be done in advance or covered or however they best want to do it. Mm.
So, um, if someone, and again, show notes, guys, you know how to get in touch with Liz. If
Mhm.
someone wants to get in touch, you mentioned that there's a discovery call. Is there what other steps or how would they go about saying, hey, maybe we can work together?
Absolutely. Yes, they can reach out to me and we can just chat either in messages or on a Zoom call or a phone call, and I can just hear about what they're up to and what they're thinking of and see if I can help them. And we
When
can
you
take it
mentioned,
from there.
sorry to interrupt you there. Obviously, I know that you're a highly qualified proofreader, and there's me with all my typos thinking, help. So this must be amazing for your clients because that's the biggest thing for me is not proofreading and it's putting out posts, hopefully not emails, but they do have typos in them. So has that must be a huge part of what you do for your clients, I would imagine, making sure that it's good copy.
I do like to do that. I do like to do that. So I will double check all of the social media that I'm scheduling. But Yes, funnily enough, that's not been as big a part of the business as I was expecting. So
Interesting.
I don't know whether, I think because there are so many other tools out there these days, like Grammarly, for example, or something like that, and spell checkers, they
They
probably
seem to
do
miss
a
all
lot
of
of that for
my
people.
groups.
Or to some people, it's not as important as it is to other people.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think there's so many people, entrepreneurs are producing ebooks or even small books.
Mm.
I would imagine that this is your area of expertise, but I'm just guessing there must be a proofreading process or advice that things are better in a different order, for example.
So proofreading is the last stage of writing before it gets published, rather than it being an editing phase. It's
Gotcha.
just a last check before something goes to print. So that's what I help people with in the main.
Yes. Eagle eye, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of us sitting here with, we're making our posts and thinking, how did I not see that? How did I, I usually dictate my writing, and yes, sometimes it doesn't understand me, and there's some very funny results, which I tend to
Brilliant.
see after I posted. I'm sure I'm not the only one, which is why I'm asking. Yeah. So
Mm,
I'm sure
mm.
it's something that you're naturally doing, aren't you, as you're
I think
making.
so. I think, yes, I do have an eye for that. So I'll probably just correct it without thinking too much about it.
Yeah, very, very valuable.
Yeah.
Okay, so Liz, as most of my guests get asked three questions, and it's just we're just changing the tone and the tempo here. So, can you imagine you're on a desert island and you can choose one piece of music? What would that be?
Goodness. Only one.
Only one, yes.
Oh no, I
You
don't
dance,
know.
you know your music. It may not be a piece of dancing music, of course, but one piece of music.
Oh, probably it would have to be a Kylie tune, which is very
Uh,
cheesy, but
I
Kylie is
think you're
my
gonna have to
favorite.
explain why it's a Kylie tune. Tell our listeners.
Oh, well, Kylie is my favorite artist and has been for ages. And then I also had the opportunity a few years ago to dance in a Kylie Minogue tribute act, which was amazing. So
Yeah.
cemented her position as my number one
I know.
favorite music artist. So it would have to be a Kylie song.
Perhaps Liz will share a photo of those Carly days with us. We'll have to see later. Okay, so got your music. Which Carly song? I'm not going to let you get away with that.
I think my favorite one is Can't Get You Out of My Head.
Okay, fair enough. Now you can take one luxury item to your island. What will you take?
Oh gosh.
Whatever you consider a luxury.
Well, yeah, what's a luxury item? Oh, that's a good question.
Yes.
Probably, mm,
Had a variety of
I don't
answers when I
know.
asked.
Is a book a luxury item?
Oh, I'm going to ask you about that in a minute, so you can say
Oh,
what.
if I was on a desert island, probably have to be sunglasses, to be fair.
Fair enough. I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Well, good one. And finally, you a book. You've got the faith book of your choice, and you've got Shakespeare, which I do sometimes remind my listeners that one guest didn't want Shakespeare, but you've got Shakespeare, and you can choose one other book.
Oh, um, well, my favorite personal development book is probably The Slight Edge or Atomic Habits. They're brilliant
Yeah,
for
they are, aren't they?
making me,
She's slipping in
yeah,
two or three
think.
here.
Oh yeah. Sorry, it's only supposed to be one. I
Slight edge.
don't know. My favorite fiction book is The Woman in White.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be the
It's
woman.
also really lengthy, so if I was on a desert island, I'd have plenty of time to read read it. It's several hundred pages.
Excellent. So, is any final words for our audience about, being an entrepreneur, starting out on your own? What would you say to someone who is thinking, I can't do this, or shall I do this? What would you say to them?
I would definitely say if it's something that you feel called to do, I would definitely explore it, whether that's having a chat with me or someone else that you know. Um, if it's something that you feel that you want to do,
Mm,
definitely explore it. If you're a bit scared, that's totally natural.
right.
I'm still scared and already made the leap. So um, you just figure out how to do it as you go along. But yeah, think about it, talk to people, do some research, and believe that you can do it because you can. And if it's something that you really want to do, don't let other people talk you out of it either. If it's something that you really, really want to do and you think you can do it and you'll do a good job.
Yeah, that's so true because we only get one shot at
Yeah.
life as it's
Yeah. If you
Exactly.
think you'll regret it by not giving it a go, then give it a go.
Wise words. Thank you very much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. And as we've said along the way, check the show notes. If you're watching us on YouTube, it'll be under the YouTube video as well. Reach out to Liz if you want to help. And Liz, I guess you can work with people in all different English-speaking countries. You can work out the time zones. Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll have all the contact points below. Thank you very much once again for giving out your early evening to talk to us. And perhaps we'll circle back and have a chance to talk again soon another time.
Thank you for having me.
You're
It's been
most
lovely.
welcome. Thank you very much.